It is Tuesday at 9 a.m. I just realized I forgot my watch at home. So, Margaret, you're going to have to let me know when we're getting close to our 45 minutes or a half an hour mark, unless we magically get done beforehand. So, I'm Heather Marsigliano from Grace on Broadway, and we have Margaret behind the camera. We live in northeast Pennsylvania, in between Easton and Stroudsburg. For anyone who is curious where we're at, that's where we are, in a teeny tiny little town in our teeny tiny little shop. But we love it. I've been a Dixie Belle retailer since 2014. So that's pretty awesome. I've gotten to see the company grow and all the new products come in. And at this point in my career, I find a ton of fun coming here and in lots of other groups doing educational stuff. We do the Bells and Bow Tour, which is getting ready to be in Georgia in 60 days. 60 days from today, we'll be in Georgia doing all sorts of amazing things. So, today, last week, we took this utensil storage chest. We had to look up,
proper
the appropriate name. And what I did is I painted it with sawmill gravy.
Sorry, I had to move.
And then I decoupaged it with Queen Bee from Roycycled. So you guys got to see us paint it and decoupage it. So what we want to do today is we have our woodgie bend. And as you can see, they're stiff, right? They're rigid. We're going to heat these up, and then they're going to be super pliable and do whatever we want. We want one to go here. Do we want it that way or that way? We want one here. And we're going to put this one here. And this one here. Then, I'm not 100% sold, but we have this roping. And we can go all the way around. I just don't know if that's going to be too much, because this might be plenty. I'm going to heat it up just in case. I already heated it up a little bit behind the scenes. This is how it comes when it's trim. It's rolled up like that. And then as you heat it, it becomes pliable. It's not all the way warm yet, so I don't want to just keep pulling on it. So I'm going to put it back. If you're wondering how I'm heating all this stuff today, I have my kitchen griddle. I literally bought this one. I kept the box so I could show everybody, because I know it's always a question. It is just a non-stick electric kitchen griddle. And then as you're working on your project, you can just put your woodgie bend on, and then when it's time to work, you just pick them up, and they're nice and heated. So, I'm just going to wrap it back up in case we don't use it. I would like it to stay that way. I also bought myself fancy tongs at Target. My husband said, what the heck am I buying all this kitchen stuff for? But it's for work. So this way, if something's extra hot, I can grab it this way. Now, I kind of know what we're doing a little bit. I think I want these black with the highlights in rosé to match everything that's going on here, because all this scroll work is already black and there's bits of a pink that's very close to rosé. It would be really difficult to paint these after we put them on, because this is already pretty, right? We would have to be like super duper careful. So I'm going to eliminate that, and we're going to paint them first. So, it's my cute little box stand. I love this thing. It actually works out pretty handy. I have caviar. It is still going to be able to bend even once it's painted.
Jackie says we can fry eggs during your live.
There we go. If we get hungry, right? I guess we could, but then we'd have to clean it.
Yeah.
And that just feels like work. probably could use a bigger brush just to get it all black, but this will work because it'll get in the little spots. So I'm just trying to make sure to work my caviar into all the spots because, again, once it's on, and we're not going to want to mess with it or paint it. So we're going to get these the exact color that we want them prior to heating them up and putting them on. So I just grabbed this cute little artist brush. Just to kind of, it felt like the right brush to grab to do all these tiny little things. But as you can see, this stuff is paintable, it is stainable. You can drill it, you can sand it. Anything you do with your wood can be done to the wood you bend.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I want to ask a question.
Oh, it's actually your question.
Yeah, it is legitimately my question.
Oh.
I thought of it when you were putting stuff out on the box.
Okay.
So the long piece there.
Yeah.
Will it, I know they bend back and forth. Will they bend in a round way so that you could round that around the edge of that? Yeah? All right, cool.
Yeah, you could do it.
Totally curious. That's all. If anybody else out there, I'm sure somebody was wondering, but
when we heat
I just
it up,
had to
we
ask.
Can totally try it and see if that looks cooler. But yeah, because like, look. Okay.
Well, yeah, but those are so skinny and they're in that nice little rope. You know what I mean? That's like a more solid.
That is hot. That is ready for tongs if we use them. I'm actually going to turn this down. While we paint all this, it does not need to be up super hot. I'm one of those people, when I want it to heat up quicker, I just turn things up higher, even though it's probably like
and then it burns.
The worst idea ever. So, yeah. Well, I finally learned that with cooking, that's a bad idea. Yeah, so you can make these go in any way, shape, or form you want. They can go like around a corner. They can go really wherever, which is the fun part, because when until now were there appliques that you could do all this with, right? All right, so again, if you're just jumping on, these are wood you bend moldings, which get heated up and become pliable. And then when they cool down, they go right back to rigid. And they have this insane ability to suck the glue kind of back in and create a really strong mechanical bond between the applique and your furniture. So we've put these on pieces and literally as test kind of used our fingers and opened drawers just by the applique, and it is on, which is huge. Because you don't want to do all this work and then have the darn thing fall off, right? So as you can see, we're painting it because we want it caviar with highlights of rosé. I'm thinking maybe I should grab like a pink paint too, just in case it's not bright enough to dry brush. We'll see. I'll do one little spot, and then if the rosé isn't as bright as I want, maybe I'll grab tea rose and dry brush it, and then dry brush rosé over that. We'll see how it works out. I feel like it'll be fine, but to be fair, this is the first time I am dry brushing rosé over caviar. Although all the pretty metallics worked really well over aubergine, so it should be stunningly pretty. But we don't want to do all this stuff with it on there because then we would have gotten paint on everything. So I'm sorry that you guys are basically watching me paint caviar this morning. We've been using caviar a lot lately.
It's a good color.
It is. We did a photo inspiration challenge and a barn. So we're gonna get to play with like reds and oranges soon, Margaret.
That'll be fun.
That will be fun. I'm thinking we're gonna end up playing with Rusty Nail for that one.
Yeah, that photo was really pretty too.
Yes. All right. Have any of you guys used Would You Bend yet? It is such a great pairing with Dixie Belle paint. I am just about done with this one, and that one is dry, so we're gonna be able to move right along here. I totally could have painted this beforehand, like one of those cooking shows. But I know some of you guys like to see it as step-by-step as possible. So, and I really wanted you to see that I didn't do anything special. Like I literally just painted the mold. Like I wanted you guys to get that understanding that it is that easy. The pieces are smaller, so you're probably going to get paint on your hand, but Dixie Belle is water-based, so no worries there. Okay. I'm making sure to get all the parts of it, because again, we're not going to want to touch it up once it's on. It is much easier to paint them, at least at this point, prior. If we were putting them on just to add dimension, and then we were going to paint the entire piece, and the piece was not painted yet, well then, obviously put these on first, and then paint your whole piece. But in this situation, since these are kind of the add-on, it's easier to paint them on their own. Okay. Now, I have Rosé, which is Moonshine Metallics. Oh, it actually opened. I'm terrible with my jars.
Sandy uses the same griddle for her Would You Bend.
Oh yeah, hey
So
Sandy.
you're not alone.
No, it's fantastic. Because then like as you're working, it's just heating up.
It's
and
a
then,
time saver. Yeah,
It is.
it's so smart.
Like look, it's just always ready. And I put it on low at this point. I jacked it up just to get it good and heated. And now I have it on just warm. Because now it's hot enough to just do its thing. It doesn't need me. These want to be wet. So we're going to cheat. Margaret, in another life, was a hairdresser. And she brought us this fancy hair dryer. Because my heat gun ended up going to Georgia. So you said I have to go high and high. Okay.
Well, that's to heat up the Would You Bend. You can put it on whatever to dry that. It'll dry it quick.
Well, I just want to cheat and get it to dry.
And then it'll heat and dry at the same time.
Oh, this does work fast. This thing's kind of cool. It probably costs way more than my...
I believe it or not, it's not like a super professional one. It's just like Sally Beauty Supply hair dryer.
It's light too.
Yeah.
I never blow dry my hair like ever, but if I did, I would buy this.
I do in the winter, and that's about it.
I couldn't blow dry all day.
It hurts. It hurts your arms. You get sore. And then everybody talks to you, and you're like, yeah. A lot of smile and nodding.
And that's why you compete with me now.
That's right.
All right, guys. Now it's dry. So, this is my rosé. This is another new little nothing brush. Writing with paper towels. I want to... Here, I'll put it on there so you can see it better. We're just going to put a teeny tiny little bit. And then I'm going to pounce it out. And I'm just going to... Oh, that's pretty. I just want to hit all these high peaks. I feel like I'm working backwards. There we go. I just want a little bit, but I want the black to be seen. That's pretty!
It's really pretty.
We should do this bigger. Who wants a piece of furniture and caviar with rosé? Come order your custom work because I want to make this. Oh, that's pretty. Can they see it?
Yes, it's really pretty.
Okay, so now our painting is done. It's super pretty. It worked just like I hoped it would. I'm gonna put just like a smidge more rosé, like a solid bit right there. And then let it kind of fade up to, that's pretty.
That's really pretty.
Okay, now
Love that.
I'm gonna take it, and while we're working on this stuff, it's going on the griddle. Just trying to make sure I know which one was first. So we started solid there, and then we're gonna work my way around just like before. Just looking, this one I think has more. I might wipe some back. Yeah, this one has more than I want, so I'm just going to take a paper towel and just kind of wipe back there. Now it's perfect. But I want to add a tiny bit more again. Right. Ah. Nope. See, we get picky too. Oh, wipe that back. That would be cool to use as a glaze. That's kind of what it's doing right now, and it's sitting in all these grooves. Oh, we have to remember that. Metallic paint as a glaze. That's going to be a thing soon. Okay, now I'm going to heat that one up. Oh, good. It's close enough. Let's get this one. All prettied and metallic. If you're just jumping on, these are Would You Ben moldings, painted first in caviar, and now I'm dry brushing rosé onto them. And then I'm putting them on my griddle so that they heat up. This is a little bit more than a dry brush. It's like a medium brushing. I don't know if that's really a word or a thing, but I feel like that's what we're doing. And I want these little spots to have just a little bit more of the pink. Because the paper is kind of that way. Oh, that's pretty. I'm excited that worked out how I thought it would in my head. Sometimes I see things in my head and I think they're gonna work, but I don't know for sure. Oh, look, and here's another lesson in always turning your stuff. Because from this angle, it looked perfect and done. But then when I picked it up, I can now see that this whole top is not. And we don't want to fix that on the piece. So just make sure all your stuff is good. Check your angles. This is super true for furniture and everything you're working on. If you're sitting in one place, turn your piece. Oh, they're pretty.
They are pretty.
Super excited. All right. So here is the box that they're going on. And what I have is just a regular paper bowl. I have Gorilla Glue open, but Titebond works as well. And most of your Dixie Belle retailers have Titebond. I just happen to have this one open and ready. But any wood glue will work. That's what you want, is wood glue. So I'm going to put some of my wood glue in here because it's going to help me just kind of dip in and paint with it and get just what I need. I had, look.
Jackie says the combo colors would look good on a picture frame too.
Yes.
It would. That's what I was thinking too.
It would look really pretty.
When you were painting them on there.
I have a cheap artist brush and it just broke, but I use the cheap ones when I'm using glue and stuff, so you'll have this. But this size is actually nice without the... I'm not going to put it back together. I kind of like it.
Luckily, you have glue for that, Heather.
I know, but I don't know that I want it fixed. All right, so we have to turn it back up on high. Let it cook a little bit. It won't take long. So what we're going to do, that's just heating back up. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to put the wood glue on the back, and then we're going to place it where it goes. And then after we place it, we're going to heat it back up with either a heat gun or a blow dryer, because the reason we're going to do that is it lets the wood glue absorb into the molding, and that's what creates that mechanical bond. But also, not every surface is flat. I can show you. Do I have another piece? So I can show them all a bigger piece. No, but I have this stick. You can't. I can see it on this end. Maybe if I.
What are you trying to do?
I want
what are you
them
trying
to
to
see
show?
that it's not flat.
Oh, all right. Well, here, then let me come down more. So yeah, you can sort of.
You can see how nothing is all the way flat, no matter which way you turn it, right? So not every wood you bend is going to be flat, and not every surface is going to be flat. So no matter what, even when working on what you think is a flat piece, it's still best to heat up your wood you bend, put your glue on, and then reheat it, because it's going to form your wood you bend 100% to your surface. So whatever weird things are going on with your surface or weird things that are going on with your wood you bend, they're not going to matter, because it's actually going to form right to it. And we're starting, look. So even though we painted it, it still is doing that. And that's enough for these pieces for what we're doing. So you want to paint your glue on before it cools. So I'm using my little nubby of a paintbrush, and I'm just painting wood glue. It's going to dry clear, but I still try to be at least a little bit careful and wipe it back if I can. I want to try to get it on everywhere. Now this one goes here. Right, that's what we wanted. Or did we want it this way? Nope, this way. So now we're gonna see how it's sitting. Here, if you go low, you can show them that that's how it would sit if it wasn't heated. But it is heated, so we're able to press it down. And then we're gonna take our heat gun, which today is a blow dryer.
I'm gonna back up so it's not too loud.
And we're gonna heat it up. You don't have to like go crazy heating it, just enough. And it's like pretty good on there already. Like, look, I'm already moving my entire thing by the wood you bend. So it's on. Now the next one obviously should also be ready. So I'm just gonna plunk this one up. I mean, look at that. Do you know any other applique that's gonna do that? That's insane. We're gonna quick paint it while it's nice and warm. And then we're gonna test Margaret's theory, which I'm almost positive we can do. Again, I haven't done it, but seems totally feasible. I got glue, not where I want it. Darn it, got it. Okay. So let's put this one here. And again, it would be stinky if we couldn't go ahead and get it all the way on. I'm just going to go and make sure that all places are in contact, and then get our heat gun and heat it up quickly right where it is. Okay. Perfect. Now we're ready for the big piece, and we were going to go straight, but now Margaret asked if we can actually get it to curve up, which I feel like we should be able to do.
Cheryl, she's using a griddle to heat the pieces up.
It's a Black & Decker electric non-stick griddle. So look at that.
That is hot. Hey, there it is.
We can do it. All right. So
that.
now let's paint it super quick because it's big. And I feel like to have that kind of pliability, we need it hot. This is where the stick part of the handle would have came in handy now. Trying to work fast. All right.
All right. Agnesa wants to see the electric griddle, so I'm just going to pan over to the box quick so that she can see what it is. And that's what it looks like.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to place it there and wrap it how we want it. So now not only was this flat, it was also straight. How cool is that? And we just got it to curve around a circle. We just changed the entire shape of this. Okay.
So Kathy, who says hello and it's great to meet you in New Jersey, was wondering if that is the transfer from Prima. What's already on the box?
Nope, this is it's called Queen Bee, and it's decoupage paper from Recycled, and we used that last week. So if you want to see the process up until this point, you just go back into last week. We're just going to heat this up.
So the ladies at Dixie Belle this morning say the piece is stunning, and
Thank you.
The curved piece at the bottom looks perfect. And they do. They look like they were meant to be together.
It's
that
so
paper
neat, right?
and the wood you bend.
It really worked out so great.
It really did. It's beautiful.
So now, I mean, are we done?
Carol, we have a couple more minutes. I think we're at maybe 30 minutes now. Yeah, 35 minutes.
I just want to show that I think this would be too much. That's going to take away from it. So now let's just do questions, because I think that we're done.
Where can Carol buy the wood you bend?
So your Dixie Belle retailers, some of them have them because Dixie Belle carries some of the styles. So certain Dixie Belle retailers have them. I also am a stockist as well. So I have extra wood you bend. So you can reach out to your Dixie Belle retailer. You can look on Wood You Bend under their stockist to find a stockist in the United States, or you can hop over to Grace And there's a post, just type in would you bend. It'll pop up or message me. I have a bunch. Any more questions?
Just a lot of comments. Beautiful piece.
Thank you.
It's a great gift. Claudia wants to know, is it wood? Is it a wood box?
Yeah, it's a utensil
I was
box.
going to say, open it up so that they can see.
So this is a really fun, I think it's a great hostess gift for like the holidays. If you're going to your mom's house or girlfriend's house and she has everything, like these are really fun, and I'm sure you can find them in thrift stores pretty much everywhere. They'll hold any utensil, so it's not like you have to pick a good size. All of them are really janky at this point because they all were like just plain wood, and by now they're like beaten up and scratched, and none of these stayed like perfect. I'm sure some families had them perfect, but trust me, 99% of the ones that I see, you are not going to mind doing this too. So I think it would be a really cute alternative for a like a hostess gift, or you could get it, and like how cute would it be if you put like little gift cards and like used it for your gift box. There's some of them, this is not one of them, but some of them this comes out of and then it becomes just a box. This one, it's all together, so I would keep this as like a hostess gift this way. But if you found one where the inserts came out, it could just be your gift box, which would be so fun. All I'm going to do on the inside is kind of clean up my lines and do this like little distressing here and clean up the velvet or whatever the heck this is, the felting, it's felting, and just leave it alone because it's nice and clean.
It is, even the white is so white still.
Right, like it's in great shape, so I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to clean it up and clean up my lines and kind of distress that. Because I like how this kind of ties it all in a little bit. There's like little white peeking through. There's some of the red coming through in the wood. So I feel like it's not as harsh. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to be done. But this is a super fun project, so I'll probably be doing more fun little boxes and things.
And someone suggested a jewelry box that would make a great jewelry box.
It would make a great jewelry box, especially if you gave it to someone with a piece of jewelry in it. Mm-hmm. Like, how cute would that be? Just like one little piece, and then you made like a really pretty box to go with it.
And then some of those wood you bends are so tiny, it wouldn't even have to be a big box.
Oh, no.
Super little boxes.
So, yeah. I'll be live tomorrow on Chalk Paint 101, and we're doing a table, and I'm adding these. Like, look how cute these little ones are. And this is only $4. So it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, the paper was $5 and I used half of it. I don't know the price points on these off the top of my head, but I know for a fact that these are $4. So say guesstimating you're another like $15 in Would You Bend. I used barely any of an 8-ounce of paint for the sawmill, for the caviar, and for the metallics. So if you have your paint laying around, this won't even dent your paint supply. I would honestly think that you could make this for like $20, $25, box included. And it's a super great present for the holidays and everything else. So
okay, so Claudia, real quick, she wants to know if the appliques are wood too. She's a little confused because
they bend.
They bend, right?
Yeah. So
they do bend, Claudia.
Yep. They're made of sawdust and all sorts of secret stuff, like Willy Wonka's candy. But they are made of wood, and they do bend, which is why it's awesome. But they have all of the properties of wood. So they can be stained, they can be painted, they can be drilled, so you can use one, and then if you want to, drill a hole through it for a key or for a back plate for hardware, you can do it. You can paint them and stain them pre-application or after. You can sand them down, so you can stain them to a dark wood and then paint over them and then distress them. Anything that you can do essentially to wood, you can do to these. They just have some sort of magic stuff that makes them bend. And then once they cool, they go right back to rigid. So remember this, we just picked it all the way up, like the center is cooling, so I can't really get it past there. The outer rings are obviously still warm, but once it cools, it it goes back to rigid and stays there forever. Like, look, I'm opening our box by the Would You Ben applique. And we just made this like 40 seconds ago, did we not? And I'm literally holding it by the applique. And that would have been dangerous live if I didn't really trust the product. So when applied correctly, stays on forever, super great adhesion, and all of these things go so well with our Dixie Belle paint. It's just, I love it. We can, if they're just, look at that. That's so special now. So if there's not any more questions, I want to see all the inspiration this week. Give me all the pictures. Message me. Put them on my wall on Grace on Broadway. Ask me questions. I'd love to see all of your decorative boxes that you made for Christmas and Hanukkah or Thanksgiving, or just because you're going over for wine or because you want it in your house. I don't care why. I want to see them all. So happy painting, and go have a great week, and we'll see you with a brand new project next week. Oh, real quick, if you're coming to Atlanta, this is my class, not the box. We're doing serving trays though.
Not this.
No, but we are. We're using recycled papers, and we're going to decoupage, and then you're going to get to add the Would You Ben around your trim. So you're going to get to make a really fun tray. So this is my class in Atlanta, and you guys are the first ones to see it. Well, to see it complete. So.
Oh, Debbie has a good question, quick.
Yeah.
What do you keep the temperature on that griddle?
So I kind of jacked it up to like 250, 300. And then that worked out better because when I had it way high, it hurt my fingers and it didn't need to be that high. But when it's on just warm, it's not enough. So I kind of just...
So in between warm and burning.
Yeah, I kind of just turned it on to like, yeah, I guess I would say like 250-ish. I'm sure you can play with it and there'd be like a happy number for you. Next time I'll be more specific about looking at what I turned it on to. I kind of just gave it a turn. And when it was too hot, I turned it down. And when it was too cool, I turned it back up. You can play with it. It's not super specific. You'll be able to figure that out pretty quickly. If you need it more. And then, oh, also, if you're working on it and all of a sudden it took longer than you thought and it starts to get cool on you and rigid, don't panic. You can just heat it back up. So, no big deal. Okay.
All right.
Any more I'm not going to remember
No more
anything.
last minutes.
All right, we're all done
good.
last minute.
We're all set.
Cool.
All right.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye.